fighting games for almost 2 decades now, and man has the time flown by. I recall playing Tekken 2 at my cousin's house, the arcade version of Tekken 3 at a roller skating rink, getting a physical copy of Tekken 3 despite me thinking that it was going to suck. Life has many doors, yes. But I wouldn't be a gamer today were it not for the Sega Genesis, and I wouldn't be a fighting game fan if it wasn't for Samurai Shodown. I distinctly recall that this game is in fact the very first fighting game I ever played, and is a strong contender for the second video game I ever played right after Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, I know this game started off as an arcade classic, but to me, I will remember it fondly as an excellent Sega Genesis game. Everything about this game is nearly flawless in its design. The graphics are superb, the music is timeless, and the fighting. Oh man, the fighting. Got a nostalgia boner just listening to that. Hit the ground. Let me lay out the basics of this game's story. You know, what little there is of it. The evil sorcerer, Amaxa, is resurrected by the dark god Ambrosia. He steals an item from Green Hell called the Palanque Stone, and seeks to bring Ambrosia into our world. Now, although he is playable in the Versus mode, he is not in the arcade mode. You pick a character from this colorfully diverse cast, and your goal is to stop him. Admittedly, having all these guys, you know, band together and agree to kick his ass before they start wailing at one another would have saved them a lot of time, but then we wouldn't have a game, and their reasons for fighting are flimsy, if not even explained at best. This game is a lot of fun, and it's aged like fine wine, but damn is this game hard! And I'm being serious when I say this. SNK is known for making some of the toughest fighting games ever made. And man, oh man, is Samurai Shodown's name pretty high on the list for toughest fighting games ever. Someone needs to list all the hardest fighting games in one big list someday. Hey, I'll do that later. But back when SNK was trying to do everything Capcom was doing and turning their franchises into multimedia, Samurai Shodown was one of their premier fighting games that they looked into mass producing. The first, and probably most well-known of these, is of course the legendarily awesome Fatal Fury trilogy. And I don't care what anyone says, I love those movies! The laughably incompetent art of fighting, which I already talked about in my really bad anime video. And last but not least, Samurai Shodown, the motion picture. A movie that many consider to be actually worse than The Art of Fighting. Bite the pillow, people, this movie's going in dry. So the movie begins with a huge battle taking place among random people who are fighting because the movie never explains it. Somehow it causes earthquakes that are so powerful, our main cast of characters can feel them from several places in the world at the same time. Rufus from Street Fighter must have heard about an all-you-can-eat buffet. Hide. Hide! Our main protagonist, Haomaru, shows up to overlook the wreckage.
You're much earlier than I expected, Haomaru.
Oh, my mistake. Actually, it's not. Every character in this movie mispronounces his name. Well, I suppose that's small potatoes compared to what they did to Amaxa.
How could you do such a thing? Why have you broken the seals holding Ambrosia?
Soon you will learn which god has the greater power.
Mispronouncing a word or a character's name, that happens all the time in early 90s anime, so it's par for the course, but getting a character's gender wrong when they're the main villain of the movie, that doesn't happen very often. And don't think it's the English dub, the Japanese dub does it too! How do you get the gender wrong of the main villain when it's based on a video game? What, did they, I don't know, rage quit the game before they could even reach the guy? Like, I did. At least I didn't make a movie out of it. Haomaru fights Amaxa for a bit before the other cast of characters show up. Isn't that super cool that they were able to show up at the exact same time, even though Wanfu is from China, Galford is from San Francisco, and of course Tam Tam is from Brazil? In the 1600s, no less. I guess American Airlines has been around for a lot longer than I thought. Galford must have really built up his frequent flyer miles. Yes, I know San Francisco wasn't even established until 1776, but that's opening a whole can of plot hole worms involving Galford that you can pretty much piece together yourself. Basically, they don't know history. Or geography, for that matter. But hey, what do I know? I only have my history books and stupid maps. The fight between Amaxa and our heroes, the Holy Warriors, doesn't really end up going so well. They end up being burnt to death and turning into the Dragon Balls. Well, that's what they are! Look, they even scatter across the entire planet! And oh darn, Galford's dead. We can't use his frequent flyer miles to track them all down and summon Shenron. Damn it, now we gotta rely on Oolong, and he's just gonna use the wish for more underwear. We skip ahead 100 years, because shut up we do, and we see a shaman lady mumbling something.
May be reborn, especially in times of great need.
Hey Steve, would you tell this voice actress to get near the microphone? I promise it won't zap her for a 10th time. We then see a Mad Bull, no, not that one, running through a crowd of people when it's stopped by Haomaru. Oh yeah, the Holy Warriors are revived now. And this movie is ripping off Karate Bullfighter. Be careful, Haomaru. You don't want to hurt Rufy or else Tabris is going to try and avenge him only to be stopped by a flight of stairs. Oh hey, check it out. There's Kuroko the referee. I hope you enjoyed seeing him because he never shows up again. We then see the group of Holy Warriors back in action, and they're looking for Haomaru, who's in the middle of being a dick to a samurai dojo by beating the crap out of a student, its teacher, and then stealing their sign. Now you're probably thinking that he's doing some sort of Holy Warrior noble shtick, you know? Nope, he's doing it because he can. I'm so glad he's our main character.
Could that be him?
What?
Could that be him?
No! As a matter of fact, it couldn't. He only looks and dresses exactly as he did 100 years ago, but there's no way it could be Haomaru. It's Kisaragi Simon from Basilisk. I'm calling it. The movie really doesn't do anything noteworthy for a short period of time. It's just these guys bumbling around doing diddly dick while we watch Haomaru do stupid shit like fight bees. Fuck you, Hinata. I don't need your Byakugan bullshit to kill bees. I'm hardcore with a stick. I'm debating on whether or not I should shoehorn in a Wicker Man joke or a Twilight Town joke. I'm gonna go with neither. Let's just watch Numbnuts here get stung on the forehead. The world's doomed, isn't it?
Well, Adasaki again. Guess I'll go catch that bear.
A Japanese redneck's final words. While Haomaru was out fighting a bear, his village is attacked by Amaxa's army because it was Amaxa's panties that Oolong wished for, and he or she wants them back. Actually, they're attacking because... I don't know, it's never explained. I'm sorry, what did you say? One more time, please, one more time. Could you please speak up? I don't think he understands you! Haomaru shows up and begins laying waste to fools left and right. That is until Earthquake steps in, and round and round and round it goes! Where he lands is gonna hurt like hell. If I may be perfectly honest here, this movie has been absolute trash up until this point, but here's where it actually begins picking itself up. It starts focusing on the plot, the characters, and even gives us a pretty kick-ass fight scene between Haomaru and Earthquake. Haomaru uses the Kaioken. Well, that's what it is! Haomaru then slices the air so fast he creates a tornado while Earthquake turns himself into the human boulder and runs into it head on, and it ends with Haomaru cutting him down and then going berserk on the remaining soldiers. God, I wish the movie was more like that and less like... well...
It wasn't just a bee. It was this big.
Oh.
Well, maybe this big. Okay, this big. Well, anyway, it was large. It must have been the king of all the hornets.
Oh, I really wish Cyborg 13 would randomly appear and punch Haomaru in the dick. Now, even though I said that the movie picks up, it doesn't really mean that it's good. It's just a piece of shit whose stench has miraculously subsided, and then came back. I forgot to mention that there's this subplot involving the characters Jubei, Hattori Hanzo, and Kyoshiro from the game that involves them starting a rebellion against Amaxa. And, well, it really has nothing to do with the story until the very end, and its payoff is underwhelming at best. So let's just focus on the whole Holy Warrior thing, that way we can ignore lines like this.
Oh, that's very good, Hanzo. I couldn't even sense you were there.
Amaxa felt me easily enough.
They finally come to the realization that Haomaru is indeed a holy warrior, and they talk to him.
If he is the one, why doesn't he know us?
It would appear as though Haomaru has not yet become fully awakened.
You know, I'm so glad they brought that up because his amnesia is never explained. All he knows right now is that Amaxa is the big bad Mac Daddy Batty, and he has to go and kick some ass. To which he does, and runs off to the evil castle. Does anyone else wish that they were watching Ronin Warriors now? I don't really have a joke. It's just that Ronin Warriors doesn't suck. So I better warn him to watch out for beehives. They appear to be his mortal enemy. He breaks through Amaxa's lines with relative ease with the Holy Warriors right on his tail. Aren't you glad we have that whole uprising subplot? I mean, it's not like 6 people can just tear through an entire army!
Only a fool fights with me.
Wow, if only Tam Tam was playing at the FIFA World Cup this year, Brazil might not have lost so badly. I didn't watch FIFA. Homer gets caught up by Charlotte, who's being voiced by Oscar Langley here. No, I'm not kidding. Tiffany Grant really is in this movie doing a shitty French accent.
Splash! Well done! Don't do it! We're not ready!
Just let me be!
Hamu! 100 years ago!
100 years is ancient history.
Whoopee!
God, this movie's voice acting sucks like a rug doctor. Haomaru and Charlotte get teleported to Amaxa's chamber, to which they both get the pants knocked off of them by Rule 63 here, as the other Holy Warriors try to locate their kidnapped allies.
There must be a secret passage around here somewhere close.
There must be plot contrivances. And hey, wait a second, how come Haomaru and Charlotte weren't transported in the weird spiderweb thingy, but those guys were? And where did the dog and bird go? And are they Holy Warriors too? I mean, they have powers too, just check this out.
Let's do it, Mama Haha!
Ah yes, fly right by them and do absolutely nothing. Good job.
Nice trick! Huh?
Oh shit, someone called PETA. Someone just lit that husky on fire. Well, I was gonna make a barbecue joke involving buns, but this movie is ass enough. The Warriors do some magic, I don't know, and it sends Charlotte and Haomaru back to Haomaru's village. Samurai Shodown, the motion picture! Who needs a story when you have Deus Ex Machina? And if you thought them having that magic was convenient, how about this? Even though the entire village was burned to the ground earlier, there's one place they can take Haomaru to recover, and the kids from earlier are still alive. How did they... You know what, never mind. I may as well ask a Red Lantern for anger management advice. Genon, the creepy green guy with the claw from the games, shows up with some soldiers and gets into a brief fight with Hanzo and some ninjas. That is until Haomaru wakes up. Whoa! That was actually kind of badass. Do it again. You're giving me ideas, movie. You're giving me ideas that make me smile. Like this. Haomaru and Charlotte fly to the castle because they can do that now and shut up. Haomaru attacks the castle, which suddenly frees the other warriors? Okay, look, I know the movie is absolutely terrible up to this point, but this just pushes my buttons. Amaxa was literally standing 3 feet in front of these people, and she didn't kill them when she had the opportunity? What the hell? That's when the other subplot runs in with their own army and starts wrecking shit. Hooray, our movie's plots are conjoining. Nah. Okay, look, Tiffany Grant faking a French accent is bad enough, but can you at least have the other voice actors talk clearly into the microphone so I can understand them? The Holy Warriors unite to fight Amaxa, and it all ends with Haomaru stabbing Amaxa, who regains their Holy Warrior memories before dying. Or does it? Yep, the Dark God Ambrosia is brought to the world, and it's up to the Holy Warriors to bring him down. Okay, I feel like I may have lost you, so I'll be fair to the movie and explain. Yeah, the movie said that Amaxa is actually a holy warrior that betrayed everyone else, and while Haomaru was recovering, he, Amaxa, and Charlotte were engaged in some Jedi mind battle, or swills or something, I don't know. To which we learned that Amaxa was kinda sorta betrayed themselves. Yeah, they're trying to make a sympathetic villain, all while relying on Deus Ex Machina to get from plot point to plot point. In Amaxa's dying wish, he sold his soul to the Ambrosia, who corrupted his normally good-hearted nature in exchange for his servitude and a way to bring Ambrosia into this world. You know, call me crazy, but I don't think Amaxa was all that good if he willingly sold his soul to the devil in the first place. Holy warrior, my aching ass. But apparently Ambrosia can be brought into this world with Amaxa's death. Okay, well if that's the case, then why did he agree to give Amaxa eternal life? You really could have shaved 100 years off of your whole grandiose resurrection into the world of man if you had just let him die in the first place. You idiot. The Holy Warriors put up a valiant fight against Ambrosia, and if I may be perfectly honest again, this scene is also kinda cool.
Ambrosia is beaten.
Wow. We got a cool ending to a terrible movie. Well, that's one positive, I guess. And so, Samurai Shodown, the motion picture, thankfully comes to a close. This movie's biggest problem isn't the fact that it can't even pronounce some words properly, or the terrible voice acting, the fact that you can't even hear some lines of dialogue comprehensibly, the fact that it jumps from plot point to plot with the use of Deus Ex Machina, pulls things out of its ass all the time, and has one-dimensional characters and an annoying lead. It's the fact that this movie actually has a few cool things about it, and it's frustrating because those few cool things are very, very sparse. And I'm being serious when I say this. This movie needed some more tweaks in its story department, and it probably would have been a decent story on its own. Sure, it wouldn't follow the game's plot, but perhaps it's a good thing that it didn't. It tried doing its own thing and failed miserably. I siphoned 2 or 3 good scenes of fresh water out of an entire ocean of wasted potential. And that's what pisses me off the most about this movie. It's not the fact that it slaps my child in the face with a dildo weapon from Saints Row. It's the fact there was genuine effort here, and its potential was scattered to the winds. And instead of being a good or at least decent movie, we end up getting a movie that rips off Dragon Ball Z and feeling like a bad episode of Inuyasha. So basically, any episode of Inuyasha.